Welcome to Board Game Animal. My name is Justin. We just posted our review and talked about how much we love the new version of Magical Athlete from CMYK. And one of the things that we wanted to do was go over every character in the game. Quick word from editing Justin here. I didn't realize something happened with the camera, like it dropped or something. Cut off the top of my head and framed the whole video weird, but to preserve the spontaneity of the video, I said I'm going to put up with it for this, so I apologize. Hope you enjoy anyway. Thanks again for watching. So very simply, we're going to go through each athlete, read their ability. If I have any particular thoughts on it, I'll share it, but we're going to do it in a little bit of an unconventional way, just because I couldn't help myself. Anyone who watches our channel knows that I may have a bit of a fondness for doing voices. Why would anybody who watches the channel know you like to do voices? I don't get it. No reason. Like I said in our review of Magical Athlete, the aesthetic of this version really reminds me of a cartoon that never was. So I thought, why not demonstrate the voices I would imagine these characters would have if this was a show? I'm going to do my best not to duplicate any voices as we go through this, because this is going to be completely improv. I thought a little bit about some voices while playing the game, of course. I purposely didn't plan specific voices in advance for these. And in fact, I just shuffled the deck. I have no idea what order these are in, so we're going to draw and do them one at a time. Let's see how this goes. Wow, yeah. If you need proof that I didn't prepare for this, here you go.
Before my race, draw 3 new racers from the deck and pick one. I have its powers.
This is going to go so poorly, I'm sorry. Third wheel.
Before my main move, I can warp to any space with exactly 2 racers on it.
Funniest thing about this one is this actually came up more often than I thought it would while playing the game, and this guy's pretty fun to play as. Mastermind.
At the start of my first turn, I predict which racer will win. If I'm right, the race ends immediately, and I finish second.
Twin.
Before my race, I can pick a racer who won a previous race and race with their powers.
I actually like this one. And this shows where sometimes the strategy can come into play with Magical Athlete, is that if you drafted Twin and then purposely waited to use them till later, you'll have a nice choice of other racers to pick from because you've now seen evidence of how good those powers are. So, Twin's good. Legs.
I can skip rolling for my main move and move 5 instead.
I actually particularly like Legs because it's just basically a guaranteed 5, but there may be moments where you want to risk it for a 6. But yeah, Legs is pretty fun. Party animal.
Before my main move, all racers move 1 space towards me. Each other racer on my space gives me +1 to my main move.
Just for time, I haven't been reading the name of the actual ability, but this one is Animal Magnetism, and I think that's hilarious based on how the power actually works. Lovable Loser.
Before my main move, I get 1 point chip if I'm alone in last place.
This one's pretty interesting because it's kind of mitigating poor rolls, right? Because if you're behind, it's a way to get more victory points if you're not winning, so it's pretty good. Heckler.
When a racer ends their turn within 1 space of where they started, I move 2.
I know he's called Heckler, like, you know, a heckler at a comedy show, but to me he looks more like that one guy we've all played board games with. Inchworm.
When another racer rolls 1 for their main move, they skip that move, and I move 1.
Baba Yaga.
Trip any racer that stops in my space or when I stop on theirs.
Stickler.
Other racers can only cross the finish line by moving the exact amount they need. If they overshoot, they don't move.
We've all been at the table with this person, too. Rocket Scientist. When I roll for my main move, I can move double that number. If I do, I trip. I don't even know if that counts as a voice. Scoocher. Maybe I had plans for this.
Oh, when another racer's power happens, I move 1. Scooch, scooch. Wait, why does the Scoocher sound exactly like me?
I don't know. That's kind of a weird coincidence. Hold on.
When another racer's power happens, I move 1.
I don't know why that's happening. I'll look into it. Scoocher is one of the funniest examples of powers that affect other powers because It's the one that you have to really keep track of, because if other people's abilities are firing off every turn, you got to remember for this guy to constantly be inching forward. And in that way, he can come from behind and be making ridiculous amounts of progress. I think I've seen Scooter win a few races because of that. It's a prime example of making good choices with your racers, because you may purposely watch as other players are bleeding out their characters on who they drafted. To line him up with someone else who will fire their ability off more often, it can work. Leap Toad.
While moving, I skip spaces with other racers on them.
I don't know. Copycat.
I have the power of the racer currently in the lead. If there's a tie, I pick.
Huge baby.
No one can ever be on my space besides the start. Whenever that would happen, put the racer on the space behind me instead. Huge baby.
No, I unironically really like the huge baby, because I'm saying this from a production standpoint. When I first opened this box and knew nothing about the characters inside, obviously I saw this figure pretty early on. And I said, you know what would be pretty funny is if this figure's ability was that nobody else could be on the space with him. Hence why the actual meeple is comically large. And when I pulled this card up, I unironically squealed with glee, because that is a hilarious power. And basically whenever the huge baby is available, I will draft him. Gunk. I used this voice already. I don't know.
Other racers get -1 to their main move.
Coach.
Everyone on my space gets +1 to the rain move, including me.
Cheerleader.
Before my main move, I can make the racer or racers in last place move 2. If I do, I move 1.
Centaur.
When I pass a racer, they move -2.
Oh, whack. Lackey.
When another racer rolls a 6 for their main move, I move 2 before they move.
Sisyphus.
Before my race, I take 4-point chips. When I roll a 6 for my main move, instead of moving, I warp to the start and lose 1-point chip.
Sisyphus is actually pretty interesting because, again, I like the ones that have victory points or can farm victory points in one way or another. This is one of those interesting ones that, again, is mitigating the fact that if you're not doing so great on rolls, there's a chance to get more victory points, or at least break even, so. Alchemist.
When I roll a 1 or 2 for my main move, I can move 4 instead.
Transmute and scoot. CMYK, can we particularly get a raise for whoever named these? Skipper.
When anyone rolls a 1 for their main move, I go next in turn order.
Suckerfish. I don't know. Blimp.
When I start my turn before the second corner of the track, I get +3 to my main move. On or after that corner, I get -1.
Mouth.
When I stop on a space with exactly one other racer, they're eliminated from the race.
Hair.
I get +2 to my main move. When I start my turn alone in the lead, I skip my main move.
Duelist. Whenever a racer shares my space, I can shout duel. We roll our dice and whoever rolls highest moves to. I win ties. Genius. Hypnotist.
Before my main move, I can warp a racer to my space.
Dice Monger.
Anyone can reroll their main move once per turn. When another racer does it, I move 1.
Dice Monger is actually one of my favorite athletes in the game. I like the idea where you potentially are giving someone else something good to benefit yourself, and the fact that it only makes you move 1 will often make anyone who rolls a bad roll automatically be like, yeah, of course I'm going to re-roll it. That's fine, you just get 1, but it can add up. Flip-flop.
I can skip rolling for my main move and swap spaces with another racer instead.
Magician.
I can re-roll my main move up to 2 times.
Dice rolling mitigation, always a good thing. Romantic.
Anyone stopped on a space with exactly one other racer, I move 2. Love.
And finally, Banana.
A Germany racer that passes me. The slip.
Hold on, I'm cheating, going back, because I just thought of something I should have done. Revisiting Genius. All you chit fans out there. I can predict what number I'll roll for my main move. If I'm right, I take another turn after this one. Success. Yeah. Yeah. I think good. Genius. Look, he's crunching the numbers. Wow. Thank you so much for putting up with that. Hope you got a kick out of it. Please tell me down below which of those voices you liked the best. Also, if I should do this with any other games because, again, shocking. I like doing really stupid voices. It's fun. Hope you get a chance to check out Magical Athlete. If you haven't, please watch our review video of it. The link is going to be right down below. And also tell me which character you're looking forward to playing as the most. I'd say maybe my personal top 3 favorites are the Baby, the Alchemist, the Dice Monger. Banana's really fun too. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And don't forget to always play board games like an animal.
Board Game Animal Magical Athlete promo when?
Yeah, when?
I'm not the Scoocher.